we have another Gen X Toy Box interview tonight, and I'm really excited because we have another interview from an extremely talented customizer. Like, I saw his stuff and I was blown away. Like, I was doing some Instagram searching and some Facebook searching, some research, and he's actually done stuff for us in the past, which I had no idea was his. So it was kind of cool. But it is Matt, and he is with us from F1sh Customs. So hi, Matt.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you very much for having me on too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited because you do a lot of stuff like customizations with like the Disney vinylmations, they're called. I was looking at this, I was like, I've seen them everywhere, but I never knew what they were called. So I had to Google it and find out. And you've done Mighty Mugs, and you do like a bunch of other figures too. And you've even branched out into some t-shirt stuff, I see.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I want these t-shirts. Like, that's awesome. And you don't do this alone. You do this with your brother Joey too, right?
Yes, exactly. So sadly, I'm the only one hanging out with you here today, but it is two of us. I know it's always funny because online we always get like how do you guys get this stuff out so fast, or how are you making it? It's like there are two of us. Maybe that makes it a little bit more believable.
Exactly. And yeah, it was like kind of cool because I was reading about you guys on your Facebook page, and it's like I was really blown away because you guys are like really pride yourselves in customer service, like a good turnaround, making sure the customer gets exactly what they're wanting and looking for, and just making sure they're really satisfied. So like that statement was kind of cool too. So I'm like, oh, I kind of get it. So yeah, I do have a couple questions for you tonight. So my husband, like I think I mentioned this a little bit. My husband and you guys work together on some stuff, some custom Mighty Mugs, and I actually brought them out to show you. I brought them out. So out from the archives, this is our tote boy Mighty Mug. And back when Mighty Mugs were like a thing 8 years ago, like I don't even remember. Are they even around anymore?
Goodness, I know they came back briefly at like Comic-Con for like some Ant-Man set, and I think that was it.
Like, these things are beautiful. Like, the line work is amazing. Like, I thought these were printed when I first saw these. I thought everything was printed out. But you handed these. I was shocked. Like, there's like no shaky lines, nothing. Like, I thought this came off a printer. So, and then I actually had to take this out of the box. My husband made a box for it.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, he made a little bubbler box, but I'm gonna take him out. He like flipped the Mighty Mugs box inside out, and like, yeah, and kind of like created his own thing. But cool, that's pretty. He hasn't been out in years. Like,
wow, gee.
It's so cute.
These are like a blast from the past for us too, which is kind of cool. You could kind of see who we used for them and stuff like that.
I love the little strings, and like, look at the little attention to detail, little buttons. I love it. Like, this to me was amazing, and I'm like really mad that I don't have one, but it's okay.
Oh,
it's all right. I'm not mad. My character's relatively new, so I get it. Junkyard stuff is too much. I get it. But yeah, that's just like a taste of what you do, just like with the Mighty Mugs and stuff. But like, so obviously you're very talented because
thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, that's impressive. So like, when you first got started, like, when did you realize that you were art inclined and that this is something that you enjoy? Like, what is the first thing that you remember creating that you were super proud of?
Goodness, I think probably like way back, man, I wouldn't even know the year this was, but it was early, probably like 2000, maybe 6 or so, like that.
So
they had yeah, it seems long, right? It's like, oh my goodness, 14 years ago now. Like, what the heck? What's going on anymore? But they had the Transformers show at the time that was called Transformers Animated. And they were just like super cartoony versions of like Optimus and Megatron and all the classics. But I think those were the first customs I did, at least, that were like, I don't know, I couldn't believe I did them, and that sounds so stupid and big-headed and dumb to say that. But I was really happy with how like Megatron's cannon arm came out, and like I gave Optimus like the shield up on his nose. I made him an axe and stuff from it. But I don't think they really hold up too much now with kind of like how things have progressed, but they were really cool. And those were something I had in my own collection myself for like ever. I probably still have them somewhere, but
ask if you still had them as like
yeah.
inspiration. That's kind of cool if you still have it.
I think if I'm not mistaken, they're in a box, and because I have a whole bunch of stuff that I just don't have room for, but I'm pretty positive they're in a box. I did remake them for someone who had asked for them, but they were different than mine. So
Yeah. That's awesome. So like even as a kid, did you like draw stuff? Did you paint stuff? Like
yeah. Oh goodness, I used to draw all the time. Like that was crazy. I used to find it like it's such a stupid thing to talk about now, but it was always the coolest thing to me when you would have like a black piece of construction paper and then you would use white crayons on it and you'd be able to do like snow and everything like that. That was like one of those things that as like a little kid I was obsessed with. It was like, man, this is so crazy. I can never use this color when I'm using printer paper or something like that.
It's like the hidden secret. Like the white crayon actually works, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
cool...
I do that all the time. And chalk on black construction paper is fun too. Love it.
Exactly. It's that kind of stuff. So I've always had stuff like that, even if it's just miniatures or stuff like that. I've always done that kind of stuff as well. But we've recently kind of gotten back into doing miniature stuff and just finding other ones where it's like, oh man, these people make like The Witcher and these people make Resident Evil and these people make this, and it's like, oh man, I could go crazy doing this. It's not even Warhammer. Like that's fantastic. You're paying all this stuff.
Right. That's awesome.
But yeah.
So like, okay, so with that, like what were some of your early inspirations, like your favorite cartoons and toy lines? Like I know you mentioned Transformers was one of your inspirations, but like what did you watch as a kid? What did you like?
As a kid, so I guess I still like the same thing, so I can't really say it was as a kid.
Adult kid.
Yeah, as an adult and as a child. It was probably like GIJoe oh my goodness, I loved GIJoe. It was so cool. I'm so happy it has stuff coming back out now where it's like kind of coming back. But I love GIJoe. I think everyone likes Marvel, so Spider-Man was always a big one. X-Men, like that kind of stuff is always cool, especially like the Jim Lee comic book X-Men with all the armor and they were so cool looking. It was like that. I wish I could do stuff like that. If I could start taking that Jim Lee style and do it that way. But that kind of stuff, like I always like Transformers. I was more into Beast Wars because that was just the one I grew up with. But something about T-Rexes and Megatron was a perfect combination for me.
Agreed.
But
yeah, I'm not gonna hold it against you that you're a Marvel fan. Like I'm not.
Oh no, I do like DC too. DC just came later. I grew up with Marvel though, so it's the only thing as a kid was Teen Titans. I can't fault Teen Titans. I love Teen Titans, so that was one of them.
They're fantastic. Yeah, our house is completely divided, by the way. I am DC, my husband's Marvel. So when we had a child and we found out it was going to be a boy, obviously we're going to do superheroes, right? I kid you not. Half of his room is DC, half of his room is Marvel. And going forward, if we buy something for his room, if I buy something DC, my husband has to immediately buy something Marvel just to make sure it's
keep it even.
Keep it even. So, like if he gets Batman PJs, it's Spider-Man PJs the next day. I kid you.
You can mix and match them. He could become those amalgam ones where they had like Jubilee and Robin and stuff, and they were one character.
I swear. And that's what we do on like crazy mix match day. My son will wear a Batman shirt and like Spider-Man pants. I'm like, that's as crazy as we get in the house because you don't know. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I can definitely. I was never really a Joe's fan. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't really my era anyway, but I don't know. I never really got into Joe's. He-Man I buy into, but
yes, He-Man's funny. I wound up doing He-Man in like the 2000. I think they're called 2000X now. I know more about it now, but I got into it then just because like it was too early for me with the originals. But now that they got that Origins line coming out, I'm like all into it. It's cool looking. It's like, ooh, I could get them now.
I know, but they're such a nightmare. How did you do finding those? Like, if you're collecting them, like, have you found any in Walmart?
These ones, they're starting to show up now, at least for me, where I could at least find like one Man-at-Arms, and it's like, all right, like I got them, so I don't gotta look for them anymore.
I'm glad. We went through the nightmare of we finally got, I think, all of them and doubles of all of them. And
Oh, cool.
I think, fingers crossed, we have the new wave like in the living room that got
Oh,
shipped.
yeah.
So fingers crossed. I hope so.
Cool, yeah. I've seen people getting that one too now, but I think they were in like Canada, so it might be not in the US
Yeah.
yet in stores. So,
Yeah, it's
but
it's a whole nightmare, but I'm excited for it.
yeah,
But let's get back to you. We
no,
can talk toys all the time, but I wanna talk about what you do. So like, okay, for your art or anything, like did you get any formal training or did you just was this all just you learning as you go?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, my dad used to draw, but like not on a professional level or anything like that. But that's kind of where I was, I guess you could say, like inspired, or both of us were, because we always saw it and he was always drawing like cool logos for like football teams and all stuff like that. So it was a different kind of art. But we never were. I mean, I remember distinctly growing up in school, and if I could hold it up, they're supposed to hold a pencil like this or something. I don't know. I don't hold it that way. But we hold our stuff like this, and forever they told us that's wrong. You shouldn't do it that way. So I was like, oh, well, I don't know. It seems to work out though now, because
Yeah,
it
right?
seems like I can hold the pencil well and brush as well. So
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, as
that's
long as
why.
it comes out great, even if you hold it like this,
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter at this point.
Kids
But
always used to
yeah.
say, well, I don't know how you write like this. And I was like, I don't hold it like a caveman. Like I'm holding it with my fingers.
Yeah, I'm still using my fingers. Don't knock
Yeah.
me. It's coming out the way I need it to. Even if I use my toes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
End result is
Exactly.
that.
But yeah, definitely I don't have any sort of like, I've never been to like an art school or anything like that. It's just through, I guess, trial and error of doing it a lot.
That's awesome. And see, that's the thing I've noticed about a lot of artists that I've been speaking to and that I know, there hasn't been a lot of formal training. It's all
Mm,
they find out what they like and they kind of
yeah.
hone it themselves and find their own style. So that is
Mm,
very true to a lot of artists that I've seen. So that's kind of
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when so we've already established you do a lot of work with your brother. So when did you guys decide to collaborate and whose idea was it?
Oh geez. Oh man.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it would have to go to my brother Joe.
Nice.
He's sold and had the first one that got out there. It was actually a it was way back when the Dark Knight was new,
Oh wow.
with Heath Ledger, Joker,
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
But he had made a Heath Ledger Joker just because we had seen the movie. It was like, this would be cool to make,
Right.
and we had posted it online, and someone was like really interested in it. It was like, oh man, like, are you selling that? Like, that thing is so cool and stuff. We were like, what on earth? Like, you could sell this stuff? Because we were just making them because we felt like having toys of this stuff.
That
So it
is
was like,
great.
yeah, so it would have to go to him. And with that specific moment, which I don't even remember when that movie came out now, but that was the first one that was like, wow, like that's really cool that we could actually get these out there and maybe sell them that way. But I guess collaborating, I mean, goodness, I'm with my brother every day, so it's
Mhm.
something where
That's so nice.
I don't know if it was so much of a collaboration as much as it was like, I'm gonna go do something over here on like the kitchen table, and I was like, oh, I'll go do something too. And I was like, all
Right,
right, whatever,
exactly.
that works.
Funny. Well, all I can say is at least something good came out of that Heath Ledger Batman movie. I'm, I'm not a fan, so
Oh no,
yeah,
goodness.
no, so it's
That's all right
okay.
though.
But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. So so I'm obviously you guys are enjoying what you're doing together. So do you guys have like similar styles and ideas or like you both just like completely in different directions? Like how's it working?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's come to the thing where no one could really, I guess, tell when either of us is painting it, which I guess is a good thing because it
That's
means we're
true.
doing something similar. But we do have like very similar styles. I guess the difference would come from like if my brother was gonna make something, he might make like a twisted metal thing or something from something random like that,
Yeah.
or wrestling or something, and I might make something from like an anime, like a
Mhm.
Dragon Ball or something, just for our different tastes and stuff.
Mhm.
But generally, we're pretty much like on the same thing there. Like it's pretty much the same thing going for both of us, I guess. Like so, I think the biggest feather in our cap, I think, is when people can't tell who's painting the stuff. So it's like, hey, that
Right.
works.
It's that seamless. That is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Love it. And so like, okay, so your creative process, since we were a little talking about that a little bit. I know you use Mighty Mugs for customizing, but what other figures do you use? Like we talked about the vinyl, the Disney vinyl ones. Like what do you really enjoy doing? And is there anything that was like older? I think they came out with new Mighty Mugs, right? I don't know
Yes,
if you use
face
them. Are they the
changing
same
ones.
as the old? Like tell me a little about like what you use for customizing.
For a lot of our stuff, it's like a lot of like Kidrobot. We've done a lot. Like
Mhm.
they do like Munnies and Dunnies, and there's oh my goodness, they
Okay.
have so many things like that.
Yeah.
But it's mostly stuff that's like kind of blank.
Yeah.
So even when we do like a vinylmation, there are two types of them where there's one where it's got like Mickey etchings in it. So they're a little different to
Oh,
do,
okay.
but we don't really jump into those just because we always it's got like the buttons molded on and it's got like his nose
Yeah.
molded in, so it gets a little weird sometimes trying to paint something other than Mickey.
Right, exactly.
But those ones like we do those, it's Mighty Mugs. We've done mini mugs, which are like the
Ooh,
tinier ones without the flippy heads. But
okay.
there's a lot of stuff though, definitely. But even just like going off the top of my head, we've done such random stuff where we'll go get like little wood circles and make them into like Pokeballs or something like that and put badges
Cool.
on them. So there's a lot of stuff like that that's not, I guess, definable by
Right,
like a
yeah.
medium.
You,
But
you can just look at it and be like, I can turn this into something. So
yeah,
cool.
this will work for something, I'm sure.
I love it.
But yeah, it's pretty much I would say like Kidrobot and various other, whether it's vinyl, like Hasbro or anyone like that. It was just got to be like blank, I guess, in some sort of
Yeah,
way.
that makes sense. Yeah, because then it's like then you have to like like how would you even do that? Like buff out like the
Yeah, it just
that's the next
becomes a
step for me.
whole like a whole nother project in itself.
No. Unless you like do it in a Mickey style, but then you can only do that like so much. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, that makes sense. All right. So let's like walk me through a process of what a custom figure looks like. Like when someone commissions you, like do they get to pick the medium? Like do they get to pick what you're customizing? And like how do you do the concept? Like do you sketch it first? Do you just go ahead and paint? And then like how long does it normally take?
So generally, it'll like a guest or a customer, however you want to explain it, someone who's
Mhm.
interested, I guess, and it will come to us and say like, "Oh, I want a vinylmation or I want a
Nice.
money or whatever," and it just starts from there. We don't really, I guess, recommend like, "Oh, this would be good as a,"
Yeah.
it's like it's whatever you want. If you want it, cool. Like
Yeah.
it's more or less a complication of if I could get it or not. But
True.
yeah. But like that, certain ones I've definitely sketched. It's become a lot easier with like iPads and stuff like that, where you can pretty much take the templates, and I used to print them off and have to just draw them. So I have a whole folder of actually sketched things from like
Ah,
forever ago. But nowadays I usually, if it's complicated or if I just can't visualize like a trench coat or like horns or something
mhm.
weird, I'll try and sketch it out and say like I just want to get an expression down or I want to see how the eyes would look this way.
That makes
But technically I guess I don't always do that. It's
sense.
usually kind of reserved for like I got a really good idea and I want to see if this works before I paint it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Yeah.
yeah. And
Cool.
then turnaround on them, it kind of just depends on what we're doing. Like a
Mhm.
vinylmation at this point, I could pretty much finish it in like 2 or 3 days. Like they usually come around like pretty quick, but yeah. But when they get bigger and like if they have like accessories or some
Mhm.
sort of like additional, sometimes it's like if it has like a, I don't even know, a big backpack or something
Oh, okay,
crazy.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it might take a
Yeah,
little bit just because you got to do it.
yeah, like the
But
little backpack we had with all the
yeah, like
like
bubblers.
crazy and everything. Yeah.
But something like that, generally, it just adds a little bit more because you got to then take like basically another day to cut it out. And
Mhm.
most of our stuff we do out of like foam, or if we can find some sort of accessory, we'll like make it. But that generally makes it a little bit longer, but it's usually within a week, no matter what, just because that's usually enough time to get them done.
Yeah, you had me at like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, I can't get anything done in 2 to
Oh.
3 days. Like it takes me 2 or 3 days to do a load of laundry. Like you're getting some stuff done. That's impressive. So what are like some of the favorite things that you have worked on? So I saw that you were working on like a bunch of Star Wars stuff. That was kind of cool. So what else have you like really enjoyed working on lately?
A lot of the stuff that we've been doing like recently with
Mhm.
like the miniatures has been really fun just because they're different. Like it's something where, man, I used to do miniatures and we both used to do miniatures like a while ago at this point. But it's been fun because there's so many more options out there now
That's
where
very
you can do like a Star Wars Legion is what those little guys are called, but they're
cool.
just really fun to paint. And it's like when
Mhm.
you're making clones and they have like ARC troopers and super battle droids and stuff, it's like,
Mhm.
all right, yeah, I can paint those to like turn blue because they're they're just cool and fun. But I think like I always liked painting the stuff where we'll have like a vinylmation, and I have one actually in my case because it's mine. I kept it, but
Very nice.
but it was a Harley Quinn when they had first done New 52, but it's just so animated where I made her mouth like gigantic and it pretty much is like her whole face. But
Right. Well, you
I
might have to send me a
yeah,
picture of that
I
later
was gonna say I
because
could grab a picture and send it.
yeah, because I absolutely love Harley Quinn. So my jaw just dropped because I'm like, I need to see this now. That's really
But that was probably that was one where when I made it, I was like, I just really liked the costume at that time too, where she had
cool.
like the blue and she had the red hair and
Yeah,
stuff. It was just a little different looking.
yeah.
But I don't know, it's just the colors and everything came out how I wanted it to, or how I pictured it in my head. But I just liked how cartoony it was, and I've always been more into a style that's like colorful. Like I like when it has a lot of like
That's
pop to it.
true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that kind of thing. But that one came out right for me. So I was like, cool, yeah, I like this.
I'm gonna have to show you. I actually did, now that I'm thinking about it, I customized a Mighty Mug for my husband when we first started
Oh,
dating.
see.
I took a Wolverine, I think it was an Old Man Logan, and I turned it into a Christmas Old Man Logan because he hates Christmas. So he has a red suit, and I got cotton, like the cotton, like the fluffies, and put it all around his hat and down his vest. Like, I'm gonna have to find that and show it to you.
That's
It's
really cool.
incredible. I forgot I made that. It's like hidden away in our Christmas stuff because we are not Christmas people. So I'm gonna
Oh, I guess I was gonna say it's getting towards that time of year now. You can bring him out. He's all right.
yeah, that needs a trip under the house. So yes, when I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. Um, so tell me a little bit about, I was looking on your Facebook page, like you had like a little awards section and you've been like working with some like really cool people and stuff. And so tell me a little bit about that.
Oh man, yeah. Over the years, we've gotten to work with like really cool people, and it's funny because it usually just starts as like we just like Power Rangers or we just like this, and it's really weird when they contact you and it's like the Green Ranger, like Jason David Frank is the person who's saying like, "Hey, could you make me like Tommy from Power Rangers?" It's like what? But it's really cool, and we got to meet him, and it was really cool. We actually have a picture. I think it's the only picture anyone's ever seen of us, but so it was us with him, and we got to meet him, and it was really cool because you got to talk to him in person, and it was really fun
I'm
though.
so jealous. He was my favorite. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
love how, because Power Rangers was in my time, I think it was in like 5th grade when it came out, and he was my favorite. Well, not as the Green Ranger, because you know he has a sketchy back history, but
yeah.
as the White Ranger though.
Oh.
And let me tell you, okay, funny story about this. I'm gonna add this in here. So I had a birthday party, or I went to a birthday party, and someone was dressed up as the Green Ranger. And it was back when I was like younger, so I didn't like put two and two together that it probably wasn't him in the
Oh,
costume. And I was like, can you please give me your autograph? And boy,
oh,
he signed it. And I kept it. I hid it in like one of my drawers so like nobody would like take it from
it's
me.
mine.
And I would like in the middle of the night like get up and make sure it was still there and look at it. I was like, signature. Like, it was that crazy. I don't even think I told my husband that story. I love that little piece of paper. It was like, you know
Yes.
how if someone shakes your hand, you're like, I'll never wash it again. That's kind of how this piece of paper was.
Yeah, it's like
Period.
what the actual Green Ranger gave me. This is
Yeah, I was
great.
like, this is the best thing I've ever received as a person. Like, so I don't even know where that piece of paper is today. So
Yeah.
apparently it wasn't that important. But you were also saying Lucas something you're working with.
Yes, that was goodness. I don't actually know what panned out with that, but it was
Yeah.
really cool even getting to do it, just the opportunity to do it. But man, that was so long ago now. But it was actually an R2D2 phone case. And they wanted us to design the actual way it would be laid out on the phone.
Wow.
But they trusted us enough to paint it and not mock it up online.
Oh,
So
wow.
but
That's trust right there.
yeah, it was really cool. Like that was one where it was like, wow, holy cow, like, that's just crazy. Like you're working with Star Wars in a way, but
It's like I have arrived.
yeah, right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know what became of that, other than that we had the opportunity to work with someone from it, which was cool.
Yeah, cool
But
enough, right?
yeah, that's why it's like, hey, whatever, that's fine enough for me. That's cool. But it's happened a lot of that. We actually even had there was a Call of Duty one when Infinity Ward, which I think they still make Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But it was way back when like Modern Warfare 2 for like 360 was new.
Wow.
And one of the directors or like art directors of the game had actually asked us, because I just liked the game, so I had there's a character called Ghost, and I made a shot glass of him, and our shot glass is the stupidest thing. Like we were totally not we don't drink anything. They were totally something just to make, because it was like, this will look cool.
Right. Why not?
But he had like a little pair of headphones on and stuff, and a microphone and junk. It was a really cool little shot glass.
Awesome.
But the guy actually messaged us, and his name was Robert Bowling. But he had said, oh man, that thing's like so cool. Like, could you make me like one of those? So we got to make another Ghost for him and send it out to him. So that was cool. That was when Call of Duty, I guess it is still popular, but for me, it was really popular. So
Yeah,
it's like,
right?
wow, this
Seriously.
is
awesome. Cool. So like, let's talk about the t-shirt stuff. So like, when did that idea come from? What, like, because I know in the geek culture, we collect t-shirts. It's just what we do. It's just part of who we are. So was it just like, I want to make my own because I have cool ideas? Like how'd that come about, and how is it doing? How are the fans receiving it?
It's something where all of our ideas always come from something really dumb. Like I always wish I had some sort of, maybe they are better stories because they're dumb, but it usually comes from something like really, really stupid. And I think the first t-shirt idea we had was when we kept going to Target and they kept not having the toys we were looking for. So if you ever notice, there's kind of a pattern to a lot of ours where it's GIJoe aggravation, some sort of other aggravation. But it kind of stemmed from that. But then once we started getting like we have an app called Procreate that allows you to just really use like the Apple pencils and stuff, and you can draw and you can do a lot of designs really easily. We just started drawing stuff, and we were looking at them, and we were like, if I were to like kind of crop this, and maybe if I edge it out a little bit or something, I can make like a really cool design for that, even if it's like a logo or something. And my brother Joe just kind of started messing with them and adding text to them and kind of doing like other stuff like that. And we came up with like it was one of the first ideas I had for it was a Pokemon. It was Pokemon teams, as if it was almost like they were representing the region that they're from, like a football team.
Cool.
So it was like one of the ones I had was the Johto eruption, and it's supposed to be like Typhlosion's the mascot of the team. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it always just stems from the fact that it's like, man, they don't have any cool Typhlosion stuff out right now, and I really want to draw them, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw them.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in the car with my husband and I'm just like, this needs to be a t-shirt. I need to make this t-shirt, but I am not inclined to do anything like so it just gets put on the back burner, and then Zazzle will have a sale and we'll try and figure out how to make it work on Zazzle. So yes, but we actually have our kind of own t-shirt line. It's really not out there at all, but it's like ninjas, right? We love ninjas. And it's like a little joke on, it's like ninja please, and here's like a little pin, ninjas with attitude. from the band, like if you're getting my drift, we're
Yeah,
substituting the word ninja for some other words. And
I get you.
yeah, what up, my ninja? Like it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a hit. So that's ours. And then I have to show off this t-shirt. I actually didn't even realize this is Jacob Chabot's shirt. The little monkey t-shirt he made. It's actually like I think his last name's spelled Shabbat. I think I'm always pronouncing it wrong, but yeah,
Oh no,
he has a t-shirt line. So
cool.
I didn't even realize I had his t-shirt on until I was
Oh
like, wait a
no, I
minute.
get you.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it always seems like everyone has t-shirts too, because you'll go onto YouTube and it's people plugging their line of merch. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I guess everyone's got everything now.
Yeah, I mean, the t-shirts are so awesome because
oh yeah,
it's like the first ever, like whenever you go to like grocery shopping or Walmart or whatever, you always look at someone's t-shirt and you're just like, that's a cool shirt. And you tell them that's a cool shirt. It's like, that's what you go for when you go out. Like that's how you present yourself of how cool the t-shirt you can wear and how many compliments you can get in one day per t-shirt. Yeah, my husband always wins. He always has the best t-shirts. It is what it is. I can't compete.
I like that nowadays they're coming out, it seems, with more and more 90s stuff. It seems like we're starting to make the transition from the 80s to the 90s. So we're 90s X-Men and 90s cartoon Spider-Man. It's like, all right, like let's keep it up.
Exactly. Because I grew up in the 90s. So we're starting to get older. We're starting to push the older people out. As I look at my husband. Out with the old and in with the cool. Oh, that should be a t-shirt. See,
it's true. See, you make them, it comes to you just like that. That's
really
why it's always fun.
So yeah, now we are the people. Like if you notice, like 90s music is starting to get into commercials where it used to be 80s songs and everything. Like it's and Friends is becoming a thing, which I was never into Friends anyway.
Oh yeah. Everything's kind of coming back. That was somewhat. Pretty soon they'll bring back Walker Texas Ranger and stuff too. So yeah, whatever. Let's bring it all back.
No, don't bring it all back. Not all of it. Some can stay. So that's really good. The t-shirt line's going well, and it seems like you're really enjoying what you're doing. You're getting a lot of great feedback from people. You're very talented. I'm going to be flashing up some of the customs that you've done that you've posted on your Facebook and Instagram, so everyone can see kind of what you're working on. And so what does the future hold for you and F1sh Custom Creations? Like what are your plans? What are something, if you had any dream to work on something, what would it be?
Oh goodness. In all honesty, like I guess the future of what we look at is it's always been something that we just do because we enjoy it. So it's like we took like a little hiatus just because it was like, all right, I gotta go do something that's gonna make me money and do something like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really necessarily, I guess, mean that we stopped doing stuff. It was just we were doing stuff again that was for us, basically, which is how it started way back when, before anyone followed us on anything. But I guess that was always how it's been. So as long as there's stuff that we're liking, like when a comic book character gets a new costume, or when like the Mandalorian's on tomorrow, so I'm sure they're gonna show something stupid for me to go make. So it's like, all right, here we are.
How many Baby Yodas have you been asked to do? Like, I'm just gonna ask that right now. Like,
I'm always that person in the store whenever we see the Mandalorian stuff, and it's like, oh, here's Baby Yoda, and it's like, oh, I really wish they would make the Mandalorian. Like, I like him. Like, where's
he doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you right now. I am a Baby Yoda fan until the day I die. Nothing else matters. It's the only reason I've watched 2 or 3 episodes. And the whole time I'm just like, Baby Yoda. I'm like, there he is again. So, I'm really, I'm not that much of a Star Wars fan, but let me tell you that Baby has me. I love him.
As long as something's bringing in new people, I guess that's all right.
Right, you're bringing a whole nother fan base here, because if that wasn't in there, I'm pretty sure I would not have watched that at all. I mean, it seems really great, and as long as they keep them in there, I might continue watching. So we'll see how it goes. Awesome. So I have really enjoyed talking to you. Had a lot of good laughs, and I got to see your cool toys back there.
Oh, thank you.
But I thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, check the description below so you can get the Instagram information, the Facebook information. And if you need any cool customizations, or if you're looking for a cool t-shirt, definitely check out F1sh Custom Creations. All right, guys, I'll see you next video. Bye. Cool. That was fun.
No, thank you very much.
Now we need a new milestone. So I was thinking at probably 125 subscribers, we can give you a tour of one room in the house. Now, mind you, every room has something toy related in it. So we can either do this room and you can see the full He-Man room. We can do my husband's office, which has a bunch of stuff in it. We can show you downstairs that has a bunch of Muscles, Imaginax, like 3-year-old just cool toys also. We can show you our game room that has a bunch of video games and board games in it, or we can show you our kitchen. Like, again, I could pretty much show you any room in this house, and it can be your choosing. We can do like a fan request probably. So 125 subscribers, you get a tour of the toys in the house in one room. So keep liking and subscribing. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.
Nice.
Wow, that's insane.
But yeah, it was like, whatever. He's not Luke Skywalker anymore. Now he's gonna be Junkyard Jess, so that's cool. We got a new one. So
Yeah, see, that's what he's working on. Surprise!
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I'll wait for mistakes. Like,